everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I thought it would be fun to have a look at the 6 years worth of Hobonichi Weeks that I've used and kind of just have a bit of a chatty flip through all of them to kind of talk through how I've used them over the years, how my planning style's changed, the years that I've used more than 1 week and what I've used them for, and yeah, just really kind of a bit of a laid back chill video today. I love seeing other people flip through planners, so hopefully you enjoy it as much as I do. Okay, so we are kicking off with 2018 and my first year in Hobonichi. I went for the White Lines line, which is, if you haven't seen it before, it's a soft cover. Definitely don't recommend the soft cover because they do not lay flat at all. Like, it's, yeah, was not fun to plan in, and had I not have got a cousin at the same time or very quickly after, it might have been enough to kind of put me off planning in the Hobonichi, just because, you know, if this had been my only frame of reference of a planner from Hobonichi, I would have been quite put off. But yeah, so this was my first Hobonichi Weeks, and I was very much in my sticker phase. So you'll see lots of me trying out sticker kits, either from other shops or me developing my own. The first few weeks I definitely kind of struggle to work out how to plan in here. You'll see kind of as time goes on, I kind of get more into it and kind of get a little bit more comfortable. I ordered this first, and then I did then succumb to the cousin quickly after, so it was a kind of a weird one because I didn't need 2 planners and suddenly I had 2. So you'll see there are some weeks where I don't do a huge amount of planning because I was using my cousin at the time, and then some weeks where I've just used this, and sometimes I'll have used both. But yeah, you can see kind of this is the time at which I developed some sticker kits and used them and kind of worked out the sizings and tried to figure out kind of what worked for me in terms of planning. This is one thing that you'll kind of see as we go through the Hobonichi Weeks. I struggle to really find my way with this planner for a good few years, in terms of how it fits into my daily planning or weekly planning. I really struggle to make this planner work for me for a really long time, and then when I did, it just all fell into place. In the notes pages, I'm probably not going to flip through too much, good old pen test page, because I started finance planning in these pages. So one of the things that I did in my Filofax that I really enjoyed was my budget planning, and so I'm gonna do that one. Was budget planning, and it was something that worked actually really well in the notes pages of the cousin, in the notes pages of the weeks rather, and so I set that up in here, and it's probably been the one thing that I've kind of consistently used my weeks for over the years. There's always been some sort of budget planning pages in here, and the width of the pages and size of the pages just works perfectly for it. But other than that, I didn't really use the notes pages too much. As you saw, there's kind of a few packing lists, a few notes, but nothing huge. 2019, I went all in, partly because I couldn't decide on which design. So the bow and tie, cactus and succulents, beautiful, but then I absolutely loved the navy with this particular cover on cover. Looks absolutely gorgeous, and I was in the early days of my love of yellow, so yeah, had to get a yellow one. I did manage to roughly find uses for all of them, she says, roughly. So this one I think I used as a work planner, so didn't use the monthlies at all when I was using it as a work planner. It was very much just for the weeklies. Very, very scruffy planning, but very kind of satisfying to look at really, and to flick through. I do enjoy kind of flicking through a well-used planner. This was using the Hobonichi pen. My writing and squiggles do not work well with fountain pens, particularly if I'm kind of flicking between pages quickly. It would have just been a smeary mess. So yeah, really enjoyed using this for work, to the point where kind of as prepping for this video I was like, actually maybe I could use a weeks for work next year, because at the moment I don't have a weeks in my plan for next year, and so yeah, that could be a good idea. But yeah, very simple kind of setup for this. To-dos, it's just general to-dos or notes might be here, but then day specific to-dos would be on the left hand side, and then just random notes, post-it notes, things like that as I went on. The notes pages didn't really use them much, other than kind of maybe specific project to-dos, or kind of if I had a really busy day, I would just use that almost as a daily log. Not huge amounts, not pretty to look at, but like I say, quite satisfying to look at. Then I had the bow and tie, which I used as a fitness planner. So kept things quite simple in here, just did a little colour scheme for the kind of workout that I did, and then made a note of steps, or how long I worked out for, or what weight I was using, how many sets, etc. As you can see, tailed off towards the end of that year. And then I continued it through in terms of the kind of health and fitness aspect by using this as a meal planner. So what I have found is the weeks, because of the 3 notches, or the 2 notches rather, that kind of creates 3 columns, this plan is actually kind of perfect for meal planning. So what I sometimes did, some weeks were better than others, plan out breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then created a shopping list on the back of it. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it is very repetitive. This was very much I have an extra weeks, what am I going to use it for? Hey, this will work for it. Completely unnecessary, completely extra, but that's what happens sometimes when you buy a planner that you don't necessarily have a use for. I don't think I use the notes pages at all. Yeah, literally 1 note on restaurants. Finally, the weeks that I used as my main planner. And well, I say main planner, I still had my cousin. I have no idea. Oh, social media. So this was Instagram, so what I posted each day on Instagram, and then general monthlies, still with the sticker kits. This is kind of my first iteration of a monthly weeks kit from the shop, or in the shop rather. And this was just my kind of normal planning. Again, I was still using my cousin, so it wasn't 100% consistently used. A lot of this was around kind of just decorative planning, kind of playing with things, trying out kits while I was developing them for the shop, trying out stickers that I was developing, and just creating some kind of pretty-ish weeks. Although I never really liked how I decorated in my planner this year. Partly because it was just kind of lots of experimentation, so it just ended up sometimes being layouts that weren't my usual kind of planning style. But part of running a shop is trying new things and trying them out in a planner, making sure that sizes work, etc, etc. This year I kind of switched between friction pen and Pilot, some fountain pen, and then also my Pilot Coletto. I do miss using my Pilot Colettos. I've kind of experimented a few times, but I have not been using them probably consistently now for years. They do tend to smear on this paper. To be honest, the only thing that I find that doesn't smear on this paper is the Hobonichi pen. All of the kinds of pens do tend to smudge, which really bugs me. I think I just must have greasy hands or something, because I just manage to make a mess every time I use a pen other than the Hobonichi one. And then the notes pages, yeah, there's lots of kind of budget planning in there, and then just random kind of notes, order trackers, things like that. In 2020, I managed to get it down to 2 planners. This was very much I could not decide between the 2, the penguins. super cute bow and tie again, and the Tokyo Tower. So let's have a look. And this one was clearly not used that much. Nope, I tapped it up and did nothing with it. And then this was yet another meal planner, completely extra planner once again, because I couldn't decide between the two. And then once I had decided to keep the Penguin as my main planner, I didn't want to get rid of the Tokyo Tower one or sell it on. So yeah, found a use for it. It's better than it staying empty, I guess, but not the best use. This one was used as my main planning planner. Once again though, still using my cousin, so it was kind of hit and miss and not 100% consistently used, as you can see. So here I was incorporating general planning, but then also going back to the whole kind of health and fitness tracking and logging, experimenting with some stickers, meal planning in here rather than in the weekly. This is what I mean around the weeks and kind of me figuring out how to use it. There was a lot of experimenting over the years. I've probably experimented in terms of different ways of using the weeks more than I ever have with the cousin. The cousin has just always felt really easy to use. Yes, I might change up the layout of my weeklies and things like that, but I'll always find a good way to use the cousin that works for me, whereas the weeks I've tried lots of different ways, always tweaking, always experimenting. Even when I find a layout that I think I like, I will then probably change it up a few weeks later. The layout that I've got now is probably one of the longest running ones, which as we kind of get into 2022 you'll see kind of my real way of planning in the week starting to take shape, and kind of I'm probably finally finding my groove with it. So I really liked actually the kind of, it wasn't needed, kind of it didn't need this much space, but I did like the layout that I had going on here, tracking my water, tracking my steps, calories, exercise, weight, tracking my macros. I was very focused this year on losing weight and being healthier. I mean, it was COVID, so I didn't really have anything else to concentrate on. But yeah, I did enjoy this. While I could give it the focus, it went well. And yeah, more of the same. Bit of kind of, I suppose, health journaling, just making notes around kind of my feeling, in terms of how I was feeling, any medication I've taken, skincare. And then this was really cool. This was a graph that I made of my weight loss over COVID. Need to get back to that. More finance planning and just, yeah, a few notes. That was 2020, that was COVID year. Okay, 2021, and this super cute cover on cover paired with the kind of mint colour was beautiful, and we are back to one planner. I had a word with myself and basically said you need to stop buying planners that you're not going to use or not going to use fully and just concentrate on one. So that's what I did. And this was meal planning, because I quite liked the meal planning actually that I'd done in the monthlies in I think 2020. So I tried it again here. So just the planned meals each day and then create a shopping list. I think later on I used this space for like a kind of often kind of essentials bit. I know I went into habit tracking. I'll move back into kind of planning in this one actually. But yeah, I did, if you are setting up maybe a health and fitness planner, this actually works quite well just to do some meal planning that doesn't take up a lot of space. And like I say, there's a lot of space for lists. You can use the bottom for kind of store cupboard essentials as a bit of a reminder of things that you might need to buy each week. But yeah, this kind of started out that way and then became more of like an actual planner. So yeah, started off with health and fitness, and then slowly I moved away from that and into normal planning. Apparently I did the health and fitness planning a lot more than I thought I did. Wow. Okay, there we go. So we're just into some really simple stripped back pen planning. I really liked planning in here. In terms of kind of just doing these really simple layouts, I'd spent a lot of years doing very decorative sticker planning, and I think it was kind of overdue to kind of get back to basics. I think I may have read the bullet journal method book around this time, and kind of that helped me want to get back to just, yeah, a bit more minimalist style of planning. Obviously I started to work in a few stickers because I do have a huge stash of stickers that even now I'm still trying to work through. I haven't bought stickers in so long. Some of these weeks were super scruffy. I was super busy with work. Kind of from the end of 2021 I started a new job, and you can kind of see it in my planning around kind of the days or the weeks were quite scruffy, with not kind of loads on in terms of the shop or the blog, because basically work was filling my life. I do quite like kind of flicking back through planners for that kind of reason, just to remind yourself what was going on, and kind of you can remember just by kind of seeing how full or how empty your page is. Oh yeah, that was the time when work was completely kicking my ass or was just stupidly busy. And yeah, you don't get that if you don't have planners really. You have to kind of remember what was going on and when. But this was kind of a continuation from the 2021, so keeping things really tidy, minimalist, colour coding I started bringing in on my monthlies, which I really liked. And yeah, into simple pen planning. A few stickers here and there, a bit of washi to use it up, packing list when I was going away. But again, you can see I was quite, I suppose what I'd call life busy, in terms of just lots going on at work, doing quite a bit of travel in 2022, so I wasn't doing loads in terms of the Lethbridge paper, and most of what goes in my planner is Lethbridge paper stuff, or it was at this point anyway. I've got a bit more going on in terms of, because we're buying a house, so there's quite a few more bits in the planners that pertain to that, but generally most of what I put in the planners is to do with Lethbridge paper. So when life itself is busy or I'm travelling, then there's not a huge amount to plan per se, beyond kind of a few small bits. This is where I really hit on a layout that I liked and kept to for quite a long time. Just events, tasks, sticker of the day, weather, exercise tracking, and then general weekly tasks, things I was waiting on, and some habit tracking. I stayed in this for quite a while, really enjoyed it. A, it was a good way to use up some stickers, and B, it was just nice, quick, minimal planning. It didn't take a lot of time to set up on a Sunday night, which meant more time to actually get things done, which was a massive plus. This was when I signed up to Sterling Ink, as you can see, because there's a massive sticker bomb everywhere. It was nice to do some decorative planning again, and not it necessarily be kind of lots of icon stickers and things like that. Yeah, I enjoyed my Sterling Ink subscription, but I just wasn't using the stickers enough. I still have absolutely loads left that I haven't used, and although I enjoyed using them in my weeks and in my planning, I didn't want each week to almost kind of look the same, with lots of you know, decorative stickers that kind of have the same tone and design. So yeah, I cancelled my subscription, and I'm slowly working through the backlog that I've got. And we are now into 2023. So this is my way of tracking fitness and my weight this year, which I like this, and aside from the time when I was clearly not doing a very good job, it's quite nice to look back on and see, you know, where I've had good days. So a green dot is when I've hit my calorie goal, all the exercise that I've done, and then I only log my weight up here if it's a reduction. So again, as you can see, didn't do great in the middle of the year. And the monthlies, see, you can see where Sterling Ink happened, but they're broadly similar to what they were in 2022. And the planning in terms of the weeklies, very much similar, just continuing on kind of the layout that I hit on the previous year. It kind of has been refined over time and kind of adjusted, and if you've seen any of my recent videos, you'll know kind of how I've been planning in terms of how I've been breaking up these pages, trying out vertical planning again for a while. But generally I kind of keep things quite minimalist, but I've definitely found a way to kind of make this planner work for me. This is the most consistent I've been in terms of a layout and how I've used it for quite some time, and I would now consider the weeks my main planner. So my cousin I barely use for planning anymore. I use it for other things. I took a month off in July to do One Book July, which I'm sure you've probably seen the videos if you're a subscriber, because I kind of did a bit of bullet journaling here, and just to help me kind of get back to basics a little bit with planning. But the weeks is now 100% what I would consider my main planner. I set out my week at the start of the week and then used my bullet journal to kind of do daily logging and daily tracking and things like that, but it all kind of comes back to the weeks. Starts off in the weeks and then just day to day is the bullet journaling. I'm not going to show my notes pages in this because there isn't kind of a huge amount beyond kind of random sticker things and packing lists, and then the rest is my budget planning. Hopefully you enjoy this video. It's a bit of a random one, and I'm just noticing quite a long one, but hopefully that was interesting to kind of see the progression of my weeks over the years. Like I say, I haven't bought next year's yet. I'm still kind of working out what I want to do with the weeks in terms of how I want to use it. I know that I posted my video about how I wanted to use my planners for next year. I may have changed my mind again, but that's no surprise. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye.